Hey, this is Mark Washington from MTC Media. So, years ago, was the first time I had dealt with Kevin Willard, and it was at the Big East tournament. Seton Hall was playing very, very well, and he came off as a rather surly, no nonsense type of coach who is just this Northeastern basketball coach that almost fits every stereotype that probably you're thinking of now. And then eventually, Kevin Willard ended up at the University of Maryland. So obviously, I was around him more in press conferences, and, media availabilities, and all those sort of things. And he is who he is. He's a basketball guy. And this is not to defend Kevin Willard, because Lord knows Kevin Willard doesn't need anyone to defend him. But he is 1,000% right at his post game when at the NCAA tournament with the whole stuff with the Villanova rumors. People are going to write whatever they're going to write. They are going to have the opinion, whatever opinion they're going to have. And there's nothing that's going to stop that. The idea that after every single game, every other question, after the previous 4 people asked about the status of where we are with Maryland and extension and Villanova, then there's another person who asks, when does it end? I don't blame Kevin Willard. I think if he wants to be surly and smart aleck like he can be, dude, go for it. At some point, guys, read the room. At some point, cover the tournament. At some point, cover the game. You want to ask questions about that? I'm not saying that you can't ask it there. All I'm saying is, when you're the 4th and 5th and 6th person to have asked, and you've seen all this ramped up, and you've heard every version of it, why are you still asking? If you want something one-on-one, especially if you cover Maryland, and I'm not talking about the people necessarily who cover Maryland, but ask the SID, hey, can I get 2 minutes? Can I get 2 minutes with Kevin? On top of that, everybody's accessible on the off days. So there was an off day before Maryland played out in Seattle. You could have asked them then. You could have asked them today because Maryland won. It didn't have to be 1,000 questions yesterday. And you could pull John aside, the SID, and say, hey, John, I'd like to have a couple minutes with Kevin. Is anything off limits? I'd like to have a couple minutes with Kevin. I wanted to ask him about the Villanova stuff. I didn't think it was appropriate to ask him after the game, so I wanted to ask him today. It's just simple. It's a simple communication thing. And people don't do that. So when Kevin Willard kind of looked like the surly Kevin Willard that I first saw at Seton Hall, I was kind of like, yo, man, I'm feeling him. I'm totally feeling him on this. I would feel the same way. I would react the same way. And I'm not even built like Kevin Willard in that sense. But boy, I'm sure there's some Kevin Willard in me. So nah, man, I'm totally with Kevin on this. Guys, just write what you write. Say what you want to say. There's nothing I can do. Can't control you. Can't control Twitter. And I completely agree with him. Because I think after a while, people in the media room just lose common sense. Whether it's a non-traditional outlet, whether it's a traditional outlet, it doesn't matter. Because I've been in post games where some of these type of questions have come from both. So let's not start stereotyping the people as asking the question. So no, Kevin, not that you need it from me, brother. I've been around the program long enough. I've been around the program, obviously, when you got here. I know what this program is about. I know what you've built there. And you got a good one on your racket. got a good one on your racket to make a good run. And whether you end up at Maryland next year or you end up at Villanova next year, the university and the program is better off because of you. It's Marcus Washington with MTC Media.